Good afternoon, everybody. This is Reverend Sam from our newly branded uh, Facebook page and YouTube channel, calling it Living in Love and Grace. So you can check that out, and then my new website, which I haven't really quite finished, ReverendSamLopezMinistry.net. So the email address is the same, revsjlopez at gmail, but we're all here. So I wanted to get on here, and I'm gonna start off with this, and let me get in here and kind of let's just get started and get started right from the very beginning, and nobody messing around. Living in love and grace. From 1 Corinthians 13, from the Passion Translation. Love is large and incredibly patient. Love is gentle and consistently kind to all. It refuses to be jealous when blessings come to someone else. Love does not brag about one's achievements nor inflate its own importance. Love does not traffic in shame and disrespect nor selfishly seek its own honor. Love is not easily irritated or quick to take offense. Love joyfully celebrates honesty and finds no delight in what is wrong. Love is a safe place of shelter, for it never stops believing the best for others. Love never takes failure as defeat, for it never gives up. Until then, there are three things that remain: faith, hope, and love. Yet love surpasses them all. So above all else, let love be the beautiful prize for which you run. That's 1 Corinthians 13 from the Passion channel, or the Passion Translation. I think you'll really like that. If you're looking for one to get into something new, that's great. Then get into that. So what is this channel all about? Living in love and grace. All right. So hopefully you voted. Great. If you've been out there, you filled out your ballot, you voted. I'm done. I voted. I'm done. I'm not here to defend anything or fight or argue or plead or beg or argue about positions, blue, red, Democrat, Republican, liberal, progressive, conservative. I'm done. I did my part, and I still see some people, friends of mine, just love the argument. They love the battle. They love to line themselves up and on one side or the other. So here's what I'm saying. I'm done. I did my part. I did my part as a citizen, and I voted, and I'm done. I'm done contributing to the bitterness. I'm done contributing to the fight. I'm done contributing to the hatred or the harm that's out there. I'm going to go back to what really is my passion, and that's love and grace. Just simple love and grace. Doesn't get any better than that. That's why I officiate, hundreds of weddings a year, because I just love. I love being involved in that aspect of it and seeing the best come out of people's lives. Thank you, Cessna. I love you guys. And so here we are. When it's all over, when it's all done, come November 4th or whatever, at some point in some part of this, part of our heart, we've got to put this all back together. And it's got to be all about love. It's got to be all about grace. And living in that and being a part of that and letting that be a part of your life and my life. So like I said, I'm done. I'm not going to fight the fight. I'm not going to get on there and I'm not going to sit there like, who am I going to unfriend today? Who am I going to block today? Who am I going to not listen to today? Who am I going to challenge and try to correct? The truth is, it doesn't matter. I haven't said one thing in all of my posts that are political. I haven't said one thing that has honestly changed a person's position. What a strange thing. And nobody has put stuff up and sent it to me, and I get hundreds of things every day. To watch this, Pastor, watch this video, Pastor, watch this video, read this article, read that article. And I read them, I watch them, and sometimes I go, well, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. And sometimes I listen to it and I go, okay, well, I'm glad they're engaged somewhere, but it didn't change my position or my mind. But here we are, October 24th, 10 days left or so, whatever. And I woke up yesterday and I was like, I'm done. I'm going to go back to what I really felt my original and my calling was, and that was to proclaim God's love. Love and grace. Just love and grace. It's hard enough out there. People are kicking themselves all over the place. And it's hard enough out there to try to figure out how to live our lives and how to keep things going from day to day and moment to moment. And my feeling is that it's time for us to step up and be something different. So I'm done with the fight. I'm done with the battle. I'm done with the arguments. I'm done picking sides, drawing lines in the sand. I'm going to go back to talking about love. So what motivates us? What motivates us in the discussion of love? And I'm going to kind of develop that. If you go back to my YouTube channel, and I changed that too. My YouTube channel also is under living, and it's under living. I'm going to have to get used to this. Living in love and grace. And we're going to, we'll work on all this together. But you go back and go into my last group of teaching. I called it Loveology. So now we're just going to talk about love. What is love? It's a simple question. What is love? You can analyze that and water it down, build it up, manipulate it, shape it, grow it. But Scripture says something very simple. God is love. God is love. And I really believe this. If we're looking for God's love and you're searching for God's love, you will find God's love in your life. And I really believe, and so many other people are out there that I'm engaging with that really believe somehow, some way, love will change the world. Love will really change the world. And it's going to be different. So I'm not a little guy, but I'm just a small time preacher, just a pastor, I'll pastor anybody that wants a pastor or needs a pastor. I have people from all over the world that email me and text me, say, you're my pastor. And I count it such a privilege to be somebody's pastor. But how can I, Sam Lopez, this little pastor on a Facebook channel, a YouTube channel, in a little chapel here in Arvada, how can I, a regular person, change the world? How can my love, how can my words have an impact on people around me? Well, I think we can. And it takes stepping out and saying, like I just did, we're going to do it. I'm going to get back on here. And I changed the title. I changed everything because we're going to talk about living in love and grace, and finding that and discovering that and growing in that, because it's what we need. It's what I'm looking for. It's what you're looking for. It's what people are struggling for in their lives. We all want to be loved. All of us. We all want to love someone. All of us. We all want to feel like we're loved every day. And now I'm going to take us on that journey. we're going to go on that journey, and it's not going to be easy, because sometimes when your passion is to be a loving person, you feel sometimes like you're a doormat. You're just somebody easy to walk over. Probably. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But Jesus was the greatest example of love. And the whole New Testament, the Gospels, the story of Jesus, is a story of this itinerant rabbi, this carpenter, this self-taught leader, religious leader, rabbi of some sort, hanging out with fishermen, hanging out with sailors, hanging out with tax collectors, hanging out with the broken, and pouring his life into them, feeding the hungry, loving the unloved, healing the hurt. And they discovered God's love by following this itinerant rabbi. All he did was look at these guys fishing in a boat, walked up to him and said, "Follow me." So I'm just telling you today, I'm asking you today, just follow me. I'm not going to mislead you. We're not starting a new religion. We're not starting a new path. We're following Jesus. We're discovering love. We're going to learn how to live in love and in grace. I told somebody yesterday, give yourself some grace. That's one of the lessons we're going to learn, how to give ourselves some grace. None of us are perfect. All of us, we fail miserably at times. We need to give ourselves some grace. Give others grace. So Jesus put it simply this way. Every time they tried to trip him up, he put it this way, simply. Love the Lord your God with all of your heart and all of your soul and all of your mind. And love your neighbor as yourself. So let's kind of work it backwards. Loving yourself. Loving yourself. It's probably the hardest lesson in the world, is to learn how to love yourself. Because we can be harder on ourselves than anybody else. When I was growing up, my grandfather, who was very instrumental and involved in my life, was this self-taught, I would say he was an engineer. That's how I would best describe him. And my grandfather would analyze and analyze and analyze everything. And then he would build something. No plans. He'd weld it, he'd build it, he'd cut it. No plans. It would just come to his head. And he was the most amazing man. And he was a little boy when he came from Mexico. And it took him 2 years to make the journey from Mexico to the United States when he was a little boy, with my great-grandmother and great-grandfather and their family. And he just became this incredible person. But all of his life, I always look at him because he just could put it together. And he was an intelligent, brilliant, kind of a stern, hard person, but loving. And when I measured myself up to my grandfather, I never measured up, because he was, in my eyes as a boy, was 10 feet tall and the smartest man in the world. But I knew that he loved me. And he taught us how to love God, because all of his life, that was his passion, was to love God. And he taught us, challenged us to love God. So love yourself first. don't measure up. Don't measure yourself up to. That was my point. Don't measure yourself up to somebody you can't measure up to. Uh, my grandfather was this incredible engineer type, brilliant mind. I'm not. I'm really bad at it. I've started a lot of projects, and in every project that I build, there's there's one thing, one last board or one last nail that I don't put in because I got tired of the project. But learn to love God. Love yourself. You are who you are. You are created. You are a beautiful, created human being, created in the image of God, who created you just the way he wanted you to be. You are not a mistake. You are not an accident. That's a powerful message because the opposite of that is taught and thrown at us all the time. So love yourself. Love your neighbors. Your neighbors that are a different color than you and me. Your neighbors that love differently than you and me. Your neighbors that don't speak the same language that you and I speak. Your neighbors that worship a different God than you and I worship, or have a different religion or a different faith. Love your neighbors, not just the ones you like, not just the ones that go to your church. I think a while back I told you a story of a family that came to a church that I was pastoring. And the church they attended used to always send a bus to the projects to pick up poor families out of the projects downtown, and then drove them to their church in the suburbs, not too far from my house, actually. And here was the crazy thing. All of a sudden, the church started to see itself become more and more affluent. And I'll never forget the first time those people walked into my church downtown, the church I was pastoring. It's not my church, but and the church pastor and the elders of that church, and they had gone there for years, came up to them and said, we're going to stop the ministry, the bus ministry, to those homes in the projects. We would like to have you people find another church. And they felt that they were not affluent enough to continue to worship with them. So I got this family walking in, two boys, a little girl, mother and father, completely broken, completely ashamed, always in fear that walking into this new church with this new pastor, when is the hammer going to drop and they're going to ask us to leave because we're poor. So I watched the people in our congregation just embrace them and love them. My mother-in-law, who was a retired teacher, found out that the mother and the father were both graduates from Denver Public Schools and graduated from high school and never learned how to read. So she took them under her arms and taught them. She would go to their home and teach them how to read, the mother and father. It was just incredible. People shared with them, loved on them, cared about them. They loved their neighbor who was poor. They loved their neighbor who lived in the projects. Loved their neighbors who walked into our church that were homeless men and alcoholics, prostitutes. You see, that's living in love and grace. That's the ministry that I've been called to. That's the journey that I want to take you on. Not only loving yourself, but loving your neighbor, and then loving God. Loving God. Discovering God in your life and in your heart. So I guess I'm here to say, I'm here to lead us on this journey of love and grace. I'm just a simple pastor. I've said that all the time. I'm just a simple pastor. I'm not a theologian, not a brilliant theologian. I work at it. But I'm just a simple pastor who has been given this gift of love and grace, and I want to give it back to you. Do I have to love everyone? Yeah. It's going to be hard, Pastor Sam. Yeah. Do I have to love my enemy? Yeah, you do. What about those gay people? You do. What about those Muslims? You do. What about those Democrats over there that voted for Joe Biden? You have to love them too. What about those people who voted for Donald Trump, those conservatives you got to love them too. You see, there's no way around it. There's no way out of it. If you're going to live in love and grace, you dive into it, you embrace it, you live it, you walk it, you start it. You are in it right now. That's what this is really all about. You see, we are right now at a really dark time in our country. We're divided. We've drawn the lines in the sand. We've picked our sides. We've decided who we are, what we identify with. Who's our leaders, who's not our leaders. But I believe, love will help us overcome everything that divides us. Once we get to November 3rd and you voted, the battle's over. Let it be what it is and decide to love. But I'm done. I can't change. In my life, I voted. I know what I believe. I know what I want, but it doesn't guide me. It doesn't direct me. It doesn't challenge me. What challenges me as a pastor, as a person, is learning how to love. So we have to love and overcome. And only through love can we overcome what divides us. Only through love can we move forward. Does loving somebody else mean avoiding politics? Maybe. I don't know. I have a lot of friends out there that we believe we're on completely opposite sides of the street, but I still love them. I care about them. I pray for them. I pray with them. So it's time for us to step forward. It's time for us to move on from this. Let's learn how to love. Love without blocking somebody. Love without deleting somebody. Love without all the stuff that we do, I guess, that makes us feel better. And I've done it. I'm just as guilty as the next person. Maybe not as much as some people. It's time to love. Those are going to be my messages. Those are going to be my teachings throughout the, I don't know, however long I do this. I'm committed to doing it as much as I can. I was kind of struggling to get on because I didn't quite know where I fit. And it was like the day that I finally voted and put my ballot in the box, I was like, all right, I'm done. I really am done with all this. Now it's time to move forward. So here I want to encourage you to join me with this change. Join me in this journey of living in love and grace and walking this journey together. And it amazes me sometimes when I'm done with these videos, and by the end of the week, I've got people from all over the world that are watching, that have shared this video. I don't get anything out of it. There's no money that comes from it. It's just something that God has called me and laid on my heart to do, to share love and grace. So I'm going to do it more. Now that I figured it out, I kind of got myself together and said, that's my calling. That's my mission. I'm back on track. Now I know what I'm going to do. So the battle's over. The fight's over. I'm not going to fight with anybody. I'm not going to argue with anybody. You can believe you're right. I can believe that I'm right politically. You can believe you voted for the right person. I might believe you voted for the wrong person, and you might feel the same way about me. That's okay. I still love you. That's okay. I still love you. I'm going to pray for you, care for you. If you need me, I'm here. So anyway, that is kind of the first part of this message, living in love and grace. I hope you stick around and share this video, be a part of it. I'm going to try to do something on this every single day. It might not be, as long as this one, 25 or 30 minutes, but I definitely will be on here to share some good thoughts for you. So I'm going to close with my forever love commitment. And I read it every day. I really do. I read this every day because this has shaped my life as a pastor. This is how I want to be. This is how I want people to feel. This is what a pastor should be. Brothers and sisters, we want you to know that we are committed to you. You will never knowingly suffer at our hands. And we will never say or do anything knowingly to hurt you. We will always, in every circumstance, seek to help you and support you. And if you're down and we can lift you up, we will do that. Anything we have that you need, we will share it with you. And if need be, we will give it to you. No matter what we find out about you, no matter what happens in the future, either good or bad, my commitment to you will never change. And there's nothing you can do about it. You don't have to respond. I love you. And that's what that means. I love you. So I'm praying today that God would bless you and care for you, that you would find his love in your life and grace. And if you need anything, if you need prayer, or if you need something, reach out to me. And I'm doing what I've been called to do. That's all. And so we're going to go on this journey of love. We're going to talk about love. We're going to grow in love. So thank you for that. Thank you for joining in on this. If you didn't like it, I love you anyway. If you didn't like some of the things I said, I love you anyway. That's the power of love, is that we can move on beyond that. So if you loved it and you liked it, great, share it. And let's put the message of love out there. So this is Reverend Sam, co-pastor at Amazing Love Sanctuary in Arvada, Colorado. And I'm glad that you were here with me today. Share this message, put it out there, and I know it'll be a blessing. I guess that's it. Have a great Saturday. We'll see you Sunday morning.